Hey, did you see that video Baring did about why he wanted to vote no on the gay marriage issue in Australia? Well, if you didn't, I'll give you the rundown. So the Australian government had to mull over the issue of gay marriage, but like most government officials, they were entirely too meek to take a stance themselves. So in order to defer the decision and subsequent responsibility onto the public, they decided to go through plebiscite legislation so everyone could vote on the issue through the mail. Basically, Baring starts off by stating that he's essentially pro-gay.
Now, I've got no objection to same-sex marriage. If two people want to get married, then I don't see why they shouldn't be able to, regardless of what's between their legs.
Then he spends the rest of the video contradicting that initial statement.
I will, however, be voting no.
Now, I've linked the original video in the description so you can hear his reasoning in his own words for yourself. I don't really want to misrepresent anything. But basically, he regurgitated the bizarre non-sequitur concerns put forth by those opposed to the legalization of gay marriage. He states concerns about freedom of speech and how the vote could affect that. First of all, I don't think his concern is legitimate. Like, I'm sure in his head it's legitimate. But in reality, there's a very tenuous connection between allowing gays to marry and religious freedom. And the idea that allowing gays to marry will suddenly mean that the Gestapo will come drag you away if you call someone a faggot or refuse to bake a cake is an absurd overreaction. It'd be like my old lady asks me to take out the trash, and I refuse on the grounds that I might get mauled by a pack of howler monkeys. It's not a realistic concern. It's a cop-out because I'm too fucking lazy to take out the garbage. Here's an idea, Baring. Cross the freedom of speech and religion bridge when you get there. We're at the gay marriage bridge right now. And because Baring has concerns about the stability of the freedom of speech bridge, he decided the only logical thing to do is to burn down the gay marriage bridge so that nobody can cross it. He cites a concern that Australia doesn't have free speech laws to protect them. But guess what? Neither do we here in Canada, and yet we legalized gay marriage without a fucking hitch. None of the shit he's worried about ever came to pass or was even suggested. Nothing about his position ensures freedom. It only impedes the freedom of homosexuals in Australia. If his real problem is with Section 18C of the Racial Discrimination Act, then he should be attacking that, not gay marriage. 18C would be in place whether or not homosexuals are married or single. I don't see how this vote would even affect that. Now, he has put out another video saying that he's reconsidered his position based on all the responses he's gotten. But then he goes on to basically reiterate his baseless concern about free speech. Just because someone changes their position doesn't mean they are absolved of the ludicrous nature of their initial stance. That goes for you too, Lazy Green. And the way it's presented, it seems like he just wants to justify discrimination under the guise of protecting free speech from an issue separate from the one he's voting on. He even plays clips from other YouTubers that basically make the case that they didn't clearly define what gay marriage is, so they can't vote for it. Like there's gonna be some sneaky redefinition at the last minute. Haha, you voted for gay marriage, mate, but what we really meant was straight people must marry deadly snakes. Like really, what other definition of gay marriage do they think is going to be sneaked in there? This is more semantics than when Bill Clinton pretended he didn't know the context of the word is.
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is. Yes.
If I didn't know better, I'd think Baring always intended to vote yes, but knew that taking a contrarian position would elicit response videos that would act as further publicity, more so than stealing artwork. Not that I like questioning people's motives, really. Actually, I do. Do the right thing and vote yes, Australia, even if your beloved bear doesn't. It's not right to deny people what ought to be a civil right because of the propaganda of paranoid worrywarts.